You don't lose in life out there. You lose it inside first. The inner game decides everything. Before the world ever sees your results, before success introduces itself, before failure even dares to challenge you, a quiet decision is already being made inside your mind. It happens in silence. It happens when no one is watching. It happens in the moments where excuses feel comfortable and discipline feels heavy. Most people think life is won on the outside, in money, titles, recognition, applause. But history tells a different story. Every great victory was first won in the unseen arena. Thomas Edison failed in public, but he conquered doubt in private. Abraham Lincoln lost elections, lost battles, lost years, but he never surrendered the inner belief that he was meant to lead. Dale Carnegie did not build steel first. He built certainty, vision, and control over fear. Because the truth is simple and unforgiving. If you lose the inner game, the outer game doesn't matter. Your habits don't defeat you. Your circumstances don't defeat you. People don't defeat you. You are defeated the moment your mind chooses comfort over courage, fear over faith, delay over decision. Every day you wake up and step onto a battlefield no one can see. Your thoughts line up on one side, your potential waits on the other, and right there in that space between who you are and who you could become, the inner game begins. This game is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It whispers. It asks you if you really believe in yourself when results are slow. It asks you if your vision is strong enough to survive doubt, criticism, and silence. It asks you if you can stay disciplined when motivation disappears. Most people answer unconsciously. They quit in small ways. They settle in invisible moments. They compromise without realizing they are slowly training themselves to lose. But a different kind of person is born the moment you decide to play this game deliberately. That person understands that mindset is not positive thinking, it is trained thinking. Belief is not hope, it is practiced certainty. Confidence is not loud, it is calm, grounded, unshakable. This is where success is decided long before it arrives. This is where failures are rewritten into lessons. This is where ordinary people separate themselves from those who leave a mark in history. The world may never see this battle, but everything the world will ever see from you depends on how you fight it. The inner game is not won once, it is won daily. Every morning, before the noise of the world reaches you, your mind is already negotiating your future. It asks whether today you will act from habit or from intention, whether you will repeat yesterday or redefine yourself again. Most people live on mental autopilot. They let yesterday's failures explain today's limits. They let other people's opinions rewrite their identity. And without realizing it, they slowly become loyal to a smaller version of themselves. But identity is not something you discover, it is something you enforce. Dale Carnegie understood this deeply. He taught that the way you think about yourself quietly trains the world how to treat you. Confidence is not arrogance, it is alignment between who you believe you are and how you behave when pressure arrives. The inner game is where belief becomes behavior. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your self-image. That is why so many people sabotage success right when it starts working. Their mind has not caught up to the future they are trying to enter. So the work begins internally. You train your thoughts the same way an athlete trains muscles, through repetition, resistance, and patience. You replace self-doubt with evidence. You replace fear with preparation. You replace excuses with standards. Because discipline is not punishment, It is self-respect in action. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your inner voice grows stronger. Every time you break one, it grows weaker. This is how confidence is built, not through motivation, but through consistency. The world respects people who respect themselves in private. That respect shows up in posture, in tone, in decisions made under pressure. History rewards those who mastered their inner climate before trying to control external conditions. Henry Ford was ridiculed for believing an automobile could belong to the common man. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination, but their inner narrative was stronger than public opinion. They did not wait for permission to believe. And that is the turning point, when you stop asking the world if you are allowed to aim higher. The inner game is choosing long-term purpose over short-term comfort. It is choosing clarity over chaos, focus over distraction. Because every distraction trains weakness, and every focused hour trains power. Your mind is always learning. The question is, what are you teaching it? To hesitate? To doubt? To shrink? Or to move forward calmly, even when the path is uncertain? The inner game does not demand perfection, it demands commitment. And once that commitment is made, the world begins to respond differently. The inner game becomes real the moment life tests you. Not when things are easy, not when motivation is high, but when fatigue whispers, "Do it tomorrow," and discipline answers, "No, do it now." This is where most people turn back, not because they are incapable, but because they have never trained their mind to stay steady under discomfort. Mental toughness is not aggression, it is composure. It is the ability to remain calm while pressure demands reaction, to stay focused when the world tries to pull you in 10 directions. Your thoughts are always talking to you. They comment on every setback, every delay, every closed door. If you do not control that conversation, it will control you. Dale Carnegie emphasized that worry is a misuse of imagination. The same mind that creates fear can create faith, but only if you direct it. Most people rehearse failure unconsciously. They imagine what could go wrong far more vividly than what could go right. And the mind, unable to tell the difference between imagination and reality, responds accordingly. But champions rehearse resilience. They visualize themselves standing firm when circumstances shake others. They prepare mentally for resistance, so when it arrives, it feels familiar, not frightening. The inner game is learning to pause between stimulus and response. That pause is power. In that space, you decide who you are becoming. Do you react like the old version of yourself, or do you respond like the person you are committed to becoming? Growth begins when reaction ends. This is why clarity matters more than talent. Clarity turns effort into direction. Without it, energy leaks everywhere. With it, even small actions compound. You do not need more time. You need fewer distractions. You do not need louder motivation. You need quieter focus. Every hour you protect your focus, you strengthen your inner game, and the world notices. Opportunities trust people who trust themselves. Leadership follows those who are not ruled by emotion, but guided by purpose. This does not mean you never feel fear. It means fear no longer decides for you. Courage is not the absence of doubt. It is action taken in spite of it. And each time you choose action, your identity shifts slightly upward. You become someone who moves forward regardless. That is how the inner game is won, not in a single moment, but through thousands of small, quiet decisions no one applauds. Yet those decisions build a foundation so strong that when the outer world finally tests it, it does not crack. It holds. The strongest people are not loud. They are grounded. They do not chase validation because they are anchored in identity. They know who they are before the world decides who they should be. This is the final mastery of the inner game, self-trust under pressure. When Lincoln faced division, when Edison faced repeated failure, when Ford was ridiculed for his vision, none of them waited for permission to believe in themselves. They moved first. Confidence followed. Your mind must learn the same lesson. You cannot wait until you feel ready. Readiness is created through action. Momentum is not the reward, it is the requirement. Every day, the inner game asks one question. Will you obey comfort or will you honor your commitment? Comfort feels safe, but it shrinks the future. Commitment feels heavy, but it expands identity. The difference between average lives and meaningful ones is not intelligence or luck. It is the ability to stay aligned when motivation disappears. Discipline is simply self-respect in motion. When you keep promises to yourself, your mind stops arguing with you. Doubt weakens, focus sharpens, energy aligns. This is why small wins matter. They are not small psychologically. Each completed task sends a signal, I can trust myself, and trust compounds. Eventually, you stop negotiating with fear. You acknowledge it, then you move anyway. This is where inner silence replaces inner chaos, where reaction gives way to response, where clarity replaces noise. You begin to act from intention, not impulse, from vision, not urgency, from purpose, not pressure. The outer world does not suddenly become easier, but you become stronger than it. That is the turning point. You stop asking, can I handle this? And start stating, this is what I do. This identity shift changes everything. You no longer seek motivation, you operate from principle. And principles do not fluctuate. They hold.
At the highest level, success is quiet. No rushing, no panic, no comparison, only alignment. You wake up knowing what matters. You move without asking permission. You rest without guilt. You speak with clarity. You act with intention. The inner game has been won. Not because life became easy, but because you stopped needing it to be. You understand now that circumstances do not create character, they reveal it. And yours has been forged through patience, discipline, and choice. You are no longer controlled by yesterday's failures or tomorrow's fears. You stand in the present with authority over your attention, your effort, and your direction. This is what Dale Carnegie meant when he spoke of self-mastery, not domination over others, but command over the self. Because the person who controls their inner world cannot be conquered by the outer one. Pressure no longer breaks you, it sharpens you. Criticism no longer defines you, it refines you. Obstacles no longer stop you, they train you. And slowly, without announcement, your life begins to reflect your inner order. Clarity replaces chaos, consistency replaces doubt, purpose replaces noise. You do not need applause, you do not need approval, you do not need validation. You know, and that knowing is power. So when the world asks who you are, you do not answer with words, you answer with action, with presence, with quiet, undeniable progress. Because the inner game has already decided everything, and you chose to win.
This channel isn't for everyone. It's for those who choose discipline over excuses.